It's no secret that Alice and Asuna butt heads every now and then, but where most people go wrong is they believe that is due to Alice being jealous of Asuna's exclusive privilege of being able to go one-on-one with Kirito's legendary sword, when the actual reason they clash is a lot more funny than that. First, let's address Alice's perspective. Simply put, her first impression of Asuna is awful. Imagine it, you're in the midst of war, holding out in an unsecure, completely unknown enemy territory where an ambush can happen at literally any moment. In the midst of all this tension in, again, enemy territory, out of nowhere you see this mysterious person you do not recognize impersonating a holy goddess and seemingly abducting the person that you swore to protect. Alice attacks without any hesitation, and we as the viewer know this is Asuna, but to Alice that is not clear. It looks like a very suspicious and dangerous situation. Then on top of that, Asuna really doesn't help to clear up the situation at all. Alice asks the mysterious assailant who they are and what they want with Kirito. Now here's where it starts getting pretty funny. In the novel it states that Asuna thought that Alice was an exceptional beauty. She even describes her voice as beautiful as a violin in the hands of a master. Having not seen Kirito for quite a long time at this point, Asuna was more prone to jealousy than she normally would be. So when she hears Alice's question, all sense leaves her mind and she answers very childishly, challenging Alice by simply declaring that Kirito is hers. Remember, Alice thinks this is an attack from the enemy, so this answer is terrible. They fight and Broccoli has to split it up in the end, explaining that Asuna is not an enemy, but rather seemingly a mysterious ally. Alice accepts this, but having gotten honestly the worst first impression possible probably, she continues to address Asuna in more of a curt fashion for even a bit after this. Also, Alice is just pretty petty honestly. It reflects in both her actions and her humor. One of the more funny examples of this I think is when Kirito and Alice are hanging after being blown out of the church. Kirito grabs Alice to prevent her from falling. At the time, Alice viewed Kirito as a disgusting, heinous criminal. As such, the thought of being saved by such a person was repulsive to her. So, out of pure spite and pettiness, she was trying to swing out of his grip and fall to her death, which is why Kirito calls her an idiot. So, going back to Asuna quickly, we get some insight into her thoughts as to why she keeps butting heads with Alice. At the meeting, she's pondering why Alice keeps getting under her skin, as usually she has no trouble getting along with everyone. So she thinks back to if this has ever happened before and realizes that the last time something very similar to this has occurred was when she was getting to know Kirito. He used to get under her skin quite frequently and they clashed heads on many occasions. This comparison is actually very consistent with how throughout Alicization, Alice is described as being similar in nature to Kirito. It's why the restrictions of the underworld weren't as effective on her, and it's why she was able to break the taboo index. Hyujo even mentions that Alice's predisposition is much more similar to Kirito's than it was to his. It's why he always got a little bit jealous when the two of them had these sort of same wavelength moments every now and then. So yeah, funny enough, just like Kirito and Asuna were at a point, Alice and Asuna have a bit of a personality clash in this regard. But also like Kirito and Asuna, they do hash it out and end up getting along after exchanging some funny stories. Yes, even after this point they do indulge in petty banter. But it's not because Alice is jealous of Asuna's romantic relationship with Kirito, it's just how their personalities interact. If anything, it's actually Asuna who considers the potential for NTR happening rather than Alice. But that's just due to her being somewhat protective as Kirito's girlfriend in that regard. It's well known that she's like this, and Sonoe actually uses that in Caliber to tease her best friend Asuna and bait a reaction out of her. So yeah, I hope that helped clear up the dynamic between Asuna and Alice. I always thought the parallel between Asuna and Alice and Kirito and Alice is quite funny, and I hope we get to see more of their dynamic in the future. So please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and so more SEO fans can find it. Also, don't forget to subscribe or Alice is going to get very angry at you. And yeah, with that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye bye.